We're going to cover the fourth step, which is the final draft, or the first draft. And then, where is the first draft? Because you are going to edit it later after reading the feedback and applying it. Before you read you start your writing, I need you to do three things, and please remember them well. The first thing, I wanted to go back to the model, which is Music for My Mother. You reread it again because this is the best model for the non-fiction narrative. So the first thing, you have to go back to the Music for My Mother and reread it again. This is the best model for non-fiction narrative. You will find the author is applying all the features of the non-fiction narrative. The second step, and excuse me for this, I don't have it here on my the PDF, but if you have your book next to you, I wanted to go back to the very end of your book. At the very end of your book, you'll find the pages are not written in numbers, it's letters with numbers. Go to page which is written it at the end, R8, it's writing. It had the, it's below the umbrella of writing. In this part, he is giving you samples of different writing according to its genre. The topic that I need you to read, it's you know, it's R18. R18. You'll find at the top writing and narration. First, you'll find the definition of narration, and then what are the elements of a narrative text. And in the next page, starting from R19, R20, R21, and 22, you'll find four texts. Those four texts are they are about the same topic, but each one has another improvement, a different improvement from the other one. It means that the simplest one is the first one, and the most improved one is the fourth one. If you please can follow me up, let's have an example, and I'm sorry for that, you have to follow me in your book. We are on page R19. We're going to read the first paragraph only. Score 1 or model 1, the remarkable. This is the name or the title. AD decided to invent a remarkable. AD thought Barnaby should be able to speak to him. This is an introduction. The story's beginning is choppy and vague, because it's, as you can see, it's the sentences are not connected. They are cut or separated by a comma, a full stop, and also he is not mentioning who is this Barnaby. What is the problem? He didn't introduce for me the character well. He didn't show me the main topic. What would be this story about? What is what is the conflict that's going to go around? So nothing is clear here. If you go to next page R20, and let's read the same introduction but in a better way. Eddie couldn't understand what his dog was barking about, so he decided to invent a remarkable. Eddie thought Barnaby should be able to speak to him. Now something different happened here. The story's beginning here, it provides few details. Now I know that the second character is a dog, and that what is this remarkable, what the thing that he wanted to invent, and what was part of his problem, that he thought Barnaby should be able to speak to him. But also those few details are they are not enough to establish the situation. He didn't establish a good situation. Let's go to page R21, the next one, and let's read the introduction again. Any bark could mean anything. I'm hungry, take me outside, or there's that dog again. Eddie thought Barnaby should be able to speak to him. The story's beginning here established the situation and the narrator's point of view. Yes, I now can read that he's speaking about when his dog barks, what does it mean? But it leaves some details unclear too. Yes, where is the thing that you want to say? Let's read the model number 4 on page R22. The remarkable Barnaby, for no apparent reason, leapt up and began to bark like a maniac. Why are you barking? asked Eddie, holding the leash tight. But Barnaby, being a dog, couldn't say. It could have been anything. a dead bread, a half-eaten sandwich, a Taj Mahal. Yeah, here the story's beginning is engaging for many reasons. Number one, he is giving you more description. He inferred also some kind of dialogue in the middle. He used details. Also, he set up a point of view and established characters and tone too. He opened the story for me in an interesting way that will let me read the rest of the story to know how can he solve this problem, how can he understand what does his dog want. So the third step, I wanted to keep reading those three models in the same way. Reading the second paragraph in the first model, move to the second paragraph in the second model, move to the second paragraph in the third model. I mean, compare between the paragraphs among those models and try to notice the difference and the kind of improvement that happened to the paragraph in each one of them. Don't read them whole, read them paragraph by paragraph to find or to notice the difference that happened. So now, so far, you have number one, to reread the music for my mother. Number two, read the four models and notice the difference between them. The third thing, the plan that you have made in your copybook after correcting the mistake that I told you about, you have to put this plan in front of you. What does this mean? This means that you have to cover all the points that you have mentioned. The first plan, which was about the experience and the events that you went through, you have to cover all this in your writing. You have to cover those events as you have mentioned exactly. The character that you have mentioned and you described, the places, also I should find them in your writing, reflecting the traits and the manner that you have described about them. Make their words in their dialogue a reflection of their character. The same way you describe them, yes, reflect this on their way of speaking, of their attitude, of their behavior. Also, the steps that you made in the final, in the third step when you draw or organize your narration, you should put it in the same thing. If you will change this in your story, you have to change your plan too. So I need to find the first three plans identical with the story that you are writing. And remember this, that your exam is out of 40 and the rest of the 50 you'll find it in the writing. If I find the four parts written in a good way in your writing, so you'll get your last 10 mark to end your 50 mark of the English test. Now let's go to on this page that I asked you to open in your copybook, in your book in front of you here on the screen. We call this a rubric. What is a rubric? A rubric, it's like a checklist. You are checking if you have covered this thing or not in order to have a good writing. So you are going, after you finish or during your writing, you have to check this list every time and then in order to make sure that you have covered this part. If we read the first one, it is much better. Yes, okay. If you read the first one, here in the checklist, he speaks about the focus and the organization. Did you provide an introduction to a real situation and develop a narrative? This experience is a real situation or you have made it up? It will appear from the thing that you are mentioning. So if you are doing this, so you have to check this. Introduce the key people involved in the narrative. Have you introduced the main characters? Have you introduced the settings and the time well? So if you have done this, so this point is covered, so you have to check it. Relates a problem or conflict. You know that you are describing a special time in your life that have affected you deeply. So you have to mention, or the conflict of your story or your detail should be related to this time. Don't bring another conflict happen in another time with another people in another place and come and mention it in the middle of your story. You know, make it related. provides a smooth progression of events. You remember when you put the first plan where you put your story into events, and we said that we can organize them in different ways. You can start by the normal way, the beginning, the middle, and the end, or you can start by the end and then you make a flashback where you go to the middle and then you go to the beginning and then the end. Anyway, the different ways of organizing your thing is not a bad thing, but what's important is to use transition words, the suitable transition word, in order to make your reader can follow you up, in order to make your reader knows, well, where is he now? Is he in the past? Is he in the present time? Is he speaking? Is he with you in the middle of the story or the conflict? So you have to use the suitable transition words. You have to move smoothly between the events. Don't go forward and backward many times. Make it once, so otherwise you are going to lose your reader. Conclusion concludes with a reflection on the significance of event. You know, the conclusion in any type of writing, you are summing up all what happened in during your all writing. So in the conclusion, you have to make a reflection on the most important events only. Mention them in a few lines or in summary or briefly. The second column includes interesting exposition that showed and will as tell the reader. Do you remember when we were speaking about showing and telling, that when you want to show your reader, you have to describe the things in details. When you want to tell your reader, you are just telling them quickly. We said that showing slow down the pace of the story, while telling speed up the pace of the story. When can you do that? You can show your reader when you want to let him know, well, this character, this place, this emotion or this feeling that you went through, or this moment that you went through. When you want to describe this moment, of course, for two reasons: whether these things were very special for you and you love them, or they were you hate them a lot and you want your reader to know, well, why did you hate those people or this place or this moment. So you can slow down the pace of the story and use the showing way and the description, I mean, when you want to let your reader live with you the same emotion, the same feelings toward this person, toward this place, or toward this moment, whether you love it or you hate it. The other thing that does not matter with you, the other thing that don't matter with you, you can just use telling in it, so you can speed up the pace of the story. Use these various techniques to create natural sounding dialogue. Creating a dialogue is something you shouldn't do all the time. You should not misuse the dialogue, because using the dialogue a lot will make your reader lost. He will not know where are those people talking, in what place, in what setting, in what time. So it's better to don't use the dialogue a lot. And remember that using the dialogue is a way of speeding up the story. So whenever you find it's a way to speed up the story and to use the character words, especially when you want to make your reader as if he was listening to this conversation, so you can use the dialogue. Again, try to reflect the characters' traits that you have written in your plan on their words they are using in their dialogue. The last thing, follow the norms and convention of non-fiction narrative. The convention means the grammar. You have to use the correct grammar. Of course, it will be in the past. Most of that will be the past, because you are telling a story that happened in the past. So this rubric, you are going to write it after your writing, and you are going to mark, you reread it again and mark all these points if you have covered or not. Okay, this is for your writing. I read that you have you have understand it well. Waiting for your writing, which will be submitted next Wednesday. Thank you very much. Goodbye.